in this video, I am going to ask Dr. Todd, the world's greatest psychologist, what I actually did right as a thyroid, as a person with Graves' disease, and what did I do right in our marriage to keep us married for 30 years, and 20 of which I was suffering and still am with Graves' disease. So that's going to be our topic today. Stay tuned. What did I do right to keep this awesome guy in my life?
Hint, she did everything right.
Todd, where are we going?
We're going to us. We might already be here.
Us are here.
Time warp. Or a reality slip or some other paranormal thing.
I see us in the mirror behind us. Let's see how many times you can use the word us.
Us.
One thing that I really appreciated that you did right the whole time is you kept the marriage relationship and the relationship with the kids the most important factor. Mm-hmm. So sure. And I know it was hard because of all the low energy and feeling terrible and feeling sick, but you know, it's not, I mean, I'm a spoiled brat, that's certainly true, but you just really knew that if the family crumbled, everything would have crumbled. You never got so irrational, loud, angry, yelling at me, saying cruel things. I know sometimes it's really, really hard to control emotions when you're struggling with thyroid problems, but you really kept it in check. Because goodness knows I have plenty of behaviors that could be yelled at.
No. It's Sunday morning. We like to go to the early, cheap movies.
That is fun. It's good to be frugal.
Look at how beautiful it is out.
It is. Even beauty thyroid beasts need movies.
I mean, so you had come back from doing a huge story on Pine Ridge Native Americans, and you were definitely edgy. You were very much on fire about Native American causes, which is great, but you were mad at me because I wasn't as into it as you were. And at one point you really...
You said something stupid.
Well,
you don't care about the Indians.
Yeah, you told me you don't care about the Indians, and I tell you, that was it. I did draw the line. I said, that is not fair. I said that I appreciate that you're into this right now, but you need to not blame me. Your mom was sick too.
Oh yeah.
Very sick. So there was
the bad stress is when you know, if Graves' disease people, when they have bad stress.
Exactly. That was so you're layering your mom dying essentially with having this big story, and then but at the same time, that is an important tip for partners is, you know, you can give them feedback. You can give your wife, husband feedback about when they go over the edge. They still need to try to manage that. Because I to your credit though, Colleen, you came right back and you said, "Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. This is my thing." You know, and then I know we've talked in other YouTube videos about, you know, advice to partners to be understanding, flexible. You know, if someone overreacts and they apologize, accept that apology, you know, and move on.
Lead the way.
Oh my God. This is birthday week still.
It is. You get whatever you demand on birthday week. Whatever, anything.
Turn the camera off. What else did I do right? I know I did a lot wrong, but...
You did, actually, you know, the funny thing is I'm sitting here, you did very little wrong. You couldn't help it that you had incredibly low energy and you were, you know, tired so much of the time. But, you know, the other thing that you did right is you really encouraged the family to do the kind of activities that would keep you up and moving.
Yes.
That we go, I remember, you know, going out to the park, going out to have dinner, going out, you know, you didn't let your own fatigue make it so you were resistant to doing activities with the family.
Mainly when I'm hypothyroid.
Yeah.
Wow. Were you blowing on that martini or drinking it? That was funny.
Well, absolutely. You know, after your thyroid was ablated, you understandably had no energy. You had gained a little weight because of that. Makes complete sense. That's nice of you. But the thing is, you intuitively knew if I lay down, I'm going to stay laying down. and it's something you still know.
Right.
Stay up. I mean, we're taking dance lessons now. That's the funnest thing. You're up later than you normally would be because you're upright and moving. And the other thing that you did so right is you were self-aware that the thyroid problems made your emotions fluctuate more. And so I really noticed that you would check yourself early on. If you started to get weepy, disappointed, you were rarely upset, but and then I could even see it in your eyes where you'd start to say, oh wait, this is more thyroid. My expectations are not right here, not so great, and you would cut that off right away.
Or laugh about it.
Oh yeah.
Make fun of myself. I think that's the Irish in me. I make fun of myself a lot, and you've always understood.
And I always make fun of the Irish too. Yeah. I'm part Irish myself, so I can do it. So I think the other thing too, you were always engaging with the kids. So again, this is more. You'll notice the theme of the worst thing to do when you're struggling with thyroid problems is isolate yourself.
Yes.
Because that's going to keep you engaging in less physical activities, which that's going to can only help you, but also isolate you. And nothing is worse for feeling depressed than being isolated, because just all the dark thoughts kind of gang up on you. And the thing that you did so right, Colleen, besides being wonderful, is you were just always engaged with us. You're always spending time with the kids, even when I knew you were tired and you knew you would have liked to just go rest. Because our kids were good for a laugh.
Oh, they are. They make
no
me
matter
laugh.
what. They're still funny. Right. Well, one thing I really love that Colleen did is that she never engaged in self-pity, felt sorry for herself, really just trying to see the positive side of things, rewrote her story to be one of adaptation, resiliency, And what I noticed too is that she was always a deep, spiritual, loving person, but she doubled down on all that, because even though she was really limited in her energies and her time, she really just cared even more for people. And I think it even reflected in her stories that she wrote at the time, because it really, and still does, she really gets a sense and has that compassion for people, even people who maybe don't have a great history of behaviors, but have, some sadness to them or some needs. She became even more aware of that. Well, one thing that I love about Colleen is she really wants to give back. And so this YouTube channel itself is an example of she wants to help others that struggle with what she struggled with. And her kind of mantra that I just love is if you've had a challenge, don't just try to overcome it yourself, but also try to help other people. And she's always lived that with us. So I hope you're enjoying the YouTube channel. And but yeah, and that is great advice, frankly, to people. Helping others almost always helps us.
I'm scared. I'm so scared. You have to protect me. Scared. Yes. That's gender, stratified gender identities. No, you have to protect me.
She gives me way more attention than I deserve, clearly, and just so much fun. So, that's, really the thing that you did. I know this is kind of the opposite of a negative, but I just loved it that Colleen did not dwell on the thyroid. That was so important.
I didn't let it define me.
You didn't let it, Colleen didn't let it define her, didn't let it define you. Mm-hmm. But I tell you, the problem is there's this balance when you have a medical condition. You want to talk about it enough so that people can come up with adaptive strategies and they feel supported. So that's super important. But then there's a tipping point where they start to perseverate on it, they start to obsess on it, and they start to repeat themselves when there's no possible positive outcome for doing that. And that's something that Colleen did such a great job at, that we talked about it enough to help her cope and to give her reassurance, but we didn't just talk and talk and talk about, because that actually can go over the top and erode a relationship as it's like, hey, we can't do anything about it, but it's the 16th time you've talked about it this morning. Colleen never did that. A great balance.
Yeah, my mantra was I will be normal again, and so part of that was not.
Well, you've never been normal, Colleen. You've been abnormally adorable.
Oh, that's way.
I know it's silly, but it's fun. But boy, I tell you that balance, and it's the same thing we see in other venues like chronic pain management. You know, where you'll have someone, yeah, they have terrible pain, but telling their partner 30 times in the morning that their pain still hurts, they know it. So there's that talking about enough, how are you going to cope? That's a great conversation to have. How are you going to cope? Not just, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. Because even the most saintly person will get burned out on that kind of thing. So, and Colleen never did that. We just talked about what we're going to go do that day, how we're going to make it positive, celebrity news, whatever fun, that's a distractor. But that's so helpful.
Very good. Yeah. We'll have to do a video on what I did wrong.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Oh,
Nothing
that's a
you
long
could.
video. That's too long for now.
No, it's not.
Well, love you, and yeah, just wrap it up.
Thank you for tuning in, beauty thyroid beasters.
So what'd you think?
I'm
About
still too
us.
scared. I might be the shadow person. You don't know.
You scared to be your own shadow?
I am
You're prettier.
Please remember that this information is not a replacement for going to your physician, to your doctor, to check out your thyroid problems, and it's not a replacement for seeing a psychologist. So please go to them if you need. Thanks.